الحمد لله خالق الوجود من العدم وجاعل النور من الظلم ومخرج الصبر من الألم وملقي التوبة على الندم فنشكره على المصائب كما نشكره على النعم ونصلي على رسوله الأكرم ذي الشرف الأشم والنور الأتم والكتاب المحكم وكمال النبيين والخاتم سيد ولد آدم الذي بشر به عيسى بن مريم ودعا لبعثته إبراهيم عليه السلام حين كان يرفع قواعد بيت الله المحرم فصلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أتباعه خير الأمم الذين بارك الله بهم كافة الناس العرب منهم والعجم. فالحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. والحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. والحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. فصلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يقول سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقل لعبادي يقول التي هي أحسن إن الشيطان ينزغ بينهم إن الشيطان كان للإنسان عدوا مبينا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, in today's khutbah, I'd like to share really centrally one ayah from Surah Al-Isra that I recited in the Arabic portion of the khutbah. But before I do, I want to share something about the ayah before this one and the ayah after this one. The ayah before this one, ayah number 52 of Surah Al-Isra, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, يَوْمَ يَدْعُوكُمْ, the day on which He is going to be calling you. فَتَسْتَجِيبُونَ بِحَمْدِهِ, then you will be responding by praising Him. In other words, He's talking about the day of judgment. Today Allah is calling all human beings too, but not all of them respond. Much less if they respond with the proper hamd. But on that day, we won't even have control over our tongues. And everybody will be in complete submission. So when they will respond with hamd. Nobody's going to be complaining against Allah Azza wa Jal. Nobody's going to be whining or being lazy. We won't even have that much. We're going to be in absolute and complete submission. What complete Islam to Allah looks like, what submission to Allah looks like, will manifest on that day. So, فَتَسْتَجِيبُونَ بِحَمْدِهِ وَتَظُنُّونَ إِلَّا بِثْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And you're going to be convinced that you didn't live a long time on this earth at all. You're going to think on that day that you lived here for a very short time. So that's the ayah before. The ayah after the one I want to talk to you about says, رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِكُمْ. Your master knows better about you. He knows better about you. In other words, you can come up with whatever excuses you want, and you think you know, but Allah says, I know better. So if He accuses you and me of something on Judgment Day, or He rewards us for something on Judgment Day, then He knew better the quality of our deeds and our speech and our intentions and even ourselves. رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِكُمْ إِنْ يَشَأْ يَرْحَمْكُمْ وَإِنْ يَشَأْ يُعَذِّبْكُمْ. Then He says, if He wants, He'll show you mercy, He'll show you love. And if He wants, He'll punish you. But before He said He'll do whatever He wants with you, He said He knows you better. In other words, whatever He does will be based on knowledge. He won't just punish whoever He wants or reward whoever He wants without knowing. But actually because He knows. He knows exactly what people deserve. It's based on that Allah Azza wa Jalla will pick. If He wants, He will punish and show mercy and love. And on the other hand, if He wants, He'll punish. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ عَلَيْهِمْ وَكِيلًا. And then He turns to Rasulullah and says to him, we didn't send you to manage them. Wakil is someone who manages over your affairs, takes care of your business. The Messenger is told, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I'll deal with them on Judgment Day. You just deliver the message, but you don't control them. And you don't take care of what they do. They'll have to take responsibility for themselves. In other words, let them make their own decisions. You just deliver the message. So the ayah before and the ayah after are both actually about the day of judgment. That's the point I wanted to highlight. And actually, especially in the ayah after, it's as though Allah is saying, you and I are free to do what we want. And even the messenger is told, don't worry, don't stress too much about them. I only sent you to give a message. I didn't send you to take control over them. Because you can't. They have to, they have free will. They're responsible human beings. So what's this ayah in between? As I come to this ayah in between, I remind myself and you that of course we accepted Islam, and as a result we accepted Allah as our master. And we accepted slavery to Allah. And that means that there are certain things that we're going to acknowledge about ourselves, that we don't genuinely have freedom. That we've happily accepted that we are slaves of Allah. We've happily accepted that. And it's Allah's mercy that He gave us freedom in many things. You can move and live, build your home wherever you want. You can get all kinds of jobs. There's a few things that He made haram for you. Outside of that, you have free reign. He didn't mandate on us, this is the only kind of food you can eat. He didn't do that. He actually only said, there are a few kinds of foods you should not eat. Everything else you can eat. There are the few things you should not drink. Everything else you should drink. Can you imagine the other way around? Allah says, only eat rice. Or only drink this, only drink water, don't drink anything else. Can you imagine what a restricted life that would be? And He has the power to do that. He's the master. He has the power to do that. But He gave us freedom in most things. And He kept us off from a couple of things. Now, because there are only a few restrictions, the hudud of Allah are not many. They're just a few. They're not that many. And because you don't see those hudud often, right? Because they're so few and far between, people start thinking that they're free. People stop respecting those few limits also. And one of the first places where slaves of Allah forget that they are slaves of Allah, and they start acting like they're not really slaves, is with the use of the tongue. How we speak, the things we say, the attitude with which we say it. That's one of the first evidences of the difference between someone who's a slave and someone who's not, is the way in which they speak. There's a humility in the slave. There's a restriction in what they can talk about and what they can't talk about. In the world, there are certain governments that are very repressive. Like they control the people with what you can call an iron fist, right? And even if you get in a cab in one of those countries, and you say, so how's the government? The cab driver will be like, we don't talk about that. And he's got this sense of authority of this overpowering government. They might hear something I say that's out of line, and next thing you know, I'll disappear. So we don't talk about that stuff here. There's a fear. And that's a fear of an actual oppressive king. But that king, no matter how oppressive, has limited power. That government has limited power. And heck, you and I are slaves of a merciful Allah Azza wa Jalla, but a very powerful master nonetheless. But we never think twice when we open our mouth. There's an authority who's and it's not even he might be listening. He might have a recording device. No. He's absolutely listening. And everything is absolutely being recorded. So now with that consciousness, I want myself and all of you to listen to this one ayah. This is the entire subject of the khutbah is this one ayah. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي, and tell my slaves. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is being told to say. He's being told to say. You go say to them. Now when the messenger is told to say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, usually what follows is an amr. What that means is it's in the second person. You go say to them, speak this way, don't speak that way, etc. An amr. And commands are in the second person. But what comes next is actually in the third person. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُوا, not قُولُوا, but يَقُولُوا الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. This is significant, and I hope I can simplify this for you. What the word يَقُولُ does in the ayah, simply speaking, is that when you hear this ayah, you're supposed to be thinking of two entities. One, you're supposed to be thinking about Allah. Because of the third person, you're supposed to be thinking this command is coming directly from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Second, you and I are supposed to be thinking as though the messenger himself, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is standing there and telling us this. So we are cognizant of our teacher and our master at the same time, sallallahu alayhi wa subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he says يَقُولُ وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ. Now the ayah so far says, tell my slaves to say. They should say. They should say. Say what? الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. الَّتِي is the feminine form. As opposed to saying الَّذِي هُوَ أَحْسَنُ, الْقَوْلُ الَّذِي هُوَ أَحْسَنُ. It's actually al-kalima. Allati hiya ahsan. It's the feminine form. You know what that means? That means Allah is telling believers, say even the word, even think about the single word. See, if it was alladhi, it would have been all speech. What you say, think of better things to say. Allah said allati, which means even think about the word you're going to say. Are you choosing the right word when you're speaking? Is there a better word you could be saying? Is there a better form in which you could be saying it? SubhanAllah. And sometimes this ayah in English translations is completely missed. And the translation says, tell my slaves to say that which is best. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Actually, it doesn't say best. If it said best, the ayah would have been وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ الْأَحْسَنُ. It would have been al-ahsan. That would have been the superlative form. It says hiya ahsan, which means what is better. Now what's the difference between the best and what's better? You might think they're similar, but they're not. When you say something is better, you're comparing. Like this car is better than that car. This team is better than that team. This city is better than that city. You know, this week is better than that week, etc. But when you say it's the best, there's no comparison. You're already on top. You're number one. Allah does not expect a human being to say the best possible thing all the time because He knows that's impossible for a human being. If there was an al on that ayah, we would have always been disobeying Allah. Always. Because we can't possibly always say that which is the best. And by the way, the best is the word of Allah. Is the word inspired to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the best. We can't meet that. That's why وَكَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا. Right? The word of Allah, that is the supreme. But He says to us to say that which is better. Now I mentioned the word better or ahsan necessarily means you're comparing. You're comparing. And what's the difference between ahsan wa khayr? ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ, Quran says, that's translated also, that is better. ذَلِكَ ahsan, that's better. What's the difference? Ahsan comes from hasan or husn, which actually has the meaning of jamal in it, beauty in it. And what it means is find a more beautiful thing to say. You know, at least find a less ugly thing to say. Now the question is, say to who? Who is Allah talking about? When should you say better things? And by the way, what this means is every time I open my mouth, before I open my mouth, in my head, there's a multiple choice. Should I say this way? A, choice A, B, C, or D, or none of the above? Say something good, أو ليصمت, or you should just stay quiet, the Rasul says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you go through your multiple choice, and you say, yeah, you know what, maybe saying quiet is better. You know? But to who? Allah didn't specify to who. Allah did not say, يَقُولُ لِمَنْ لِلْكُفَّارِ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ لِلْرَسُولِ لِلْأَهْلِ. To who? Allah didn't specify because Allah says every time you open your mouth, this should happen. Every time you and I open our mouth, we're supposed to think, well, I'm about to say something. Is there a better way to say this? Is there a more sensitive way of saying this? Is there a less offensive way of saying this? Is there a less angry way of saying this? Okay, is there a way to say this that's not mean? And if there isn't one, maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe I just shouldn't say it. That is the principle of وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّذِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Before I go to the next part of the ayah, just some more things. Where does this apply for us? It's not just when you meet brothers in the masjid. MashaAllah, it's not hard for us when the salat is done to smile at each other and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa alaikum assalam. How are you? I'm good. Very good. Awesome. Then you get in the car. And you get in the car and you realize you didn't pay the electricity bill. So you call the wife. And you call the wife and it goes to voicemail. You get a little agitated. You don't leave a voicemail. Then you call again and it goes to voicemail. Then you call a third time and it goes to voicemail. So you decide you're going to call 10 straight times. And it goes to voicemail 10 straight times. The 11th time, by some miracle of Allah, this woman picks up. And when she picks up, she says, I was changing a diaper. But you know what? The anger train has left the station for you. What is wrong with you? Woman, I called you 10 times. You can't pick up the phone. Why did I get you a phone anyway? Why am I paying this cell phone? I'm going to come home and throw your phone out the window. I'm going to step on that. It makes me so angry. What's even the point of having this phone? Can't rely on you and you got this whole speech built up in your head. When you were talking to each other after salat, Assalamu alaikum brother. Akhi Kareem, how are you? How's it going? Everything good? Then you get in the car. And the second you get a chance to speak to those who you have authority over, that questionnaire, is there a better way of saying this? Should I not say anything? Maybe she is changing a diaper. Maybe she is, busy right now. Maybe she's on the phone with her mother. Maybe the phone is on silent. Maybe she's praying. Those thoughts don't cross our mind. We just say it. We just say it. The same thing happens with adults when we're talking to our kids. All the parents want me to go give a khutbah about, tell the children how to speak properly. They should be more respectful. And yes, this khutbah includes that. But you know what? On the other side too, I'm a father. The mother's sitting in the audience today. Your child does something wrong, spills a cup, or you hit the other brother or the sister. Now you got angry, and you're the absolute king inside the house, or the queen inside the house. There's no authority higher than you. So you can yell as loud as you want. You can be as mean as you want. You can say whatever, nobody will question you. And sometimes the mother yells at the child, and even the husband's like, oh, back off, I can't get involved in that one, because that look in the eyes, maybe I should just go change a tire or something, because I don't want to deal with that, But when you have that kind of authority, at that time to remember, I am a slave and I need to think about, is there a better way to speak? Even to a child, even to a 2-year-old, even to a 6-month-old, even to a 5-year-old. Is there a better way to speak? Because it doesn't matter if you have authority in the house or not, or whether you're at home or at the office, or at the masjid, or talking to the wife or the husband. None of that matters. What matters is Allah says, when you open your mouth, think about what is a better thing to say. يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Find a better way to say things. This is something we have to internalize. It doesn't come easy. We can recite this ayah with perfect tajweed. We can listen to the ayah in salat, and then go back, and once we get out of here, then our tongues go back to the way they are. SubhanAllah. How is that? How are people that say they believe in Allah, and Allah says, وَلَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا صُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا صُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. When they are reminded of the ayat of their master, they don't trip over them like they're deaf and mute and blind, like they didn't even hear it, they don't even know. This shouldn't be the case. Not with you and not with me. And we're not going to be perfect after these 7-8 minutes are done. We're not going to be perfect. It's not like we're going to change the way we speak. That's not going to happen. It's a work in progress. It takes time. If somebody is sick, they want to become healthy, it takes time. There's a diet. You have to change your diet. You have to be on regular medication. You have to do exercise. And after a while, you start noticing changes. The same thing is true of spiritual diseases, personality diseases. If you have an anger problem, if you rush to speak, if you just say things, blurt them out, and then regret them later, or maybe you don't even regret them, working on that is going to take some time. It's going to take some time. And just because you don't see change in yourself overnight doesn't mean, I can't change myself. Nothing's going to happen. That's not how it works. That is not the way in which Allah designed the human being. All the changes we want to make in ourselves, all of them take time. All of them. Whether they are physical changes, whether they are changes in what you understand, what you know. Understanding a subject takes time. Mastering a skill takes time. Everything we do, it takes time. And so improving ourselves in terms of getting closer to applying Allah's book, that also takes time. So we have to be patient with ourselves. Now a little bit towards the children, and this is actually for everybody. There's something we have to be sensitive to. And that is a matter of perspective. I was actually talking to a bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers this morning about this. And this is a matter that's very important for all people to understand. Sometimes when you speak, you have no awareness that what you're saying is hurting someone else. You think it's perfectly normal. Like what you said, it couldn't possibly be offensive to someone else. Because you have your own perspective. But it's very difficult for you to see things from somebody else's perspective. Like you're saying something and the wife is crying. And you're like, why are you crying? I said something perfectly logical. The food has too much salt. That's perfectly logical. I mean, it does have to. I can show it to you scientifically. We can, discuss that, this is in fact the case. And I just said you came late. That's all I said. Why are you angry? Why are you upset? And you're like, why are these people getting upset at something that I said that doesn't seem to me like it's a problem at all? This is when we have to remember, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ, Quran says. They give others preference over themselves, even in perspective. You have to start to train yourself to think like the other. If you have said something to your wife, to your children, to your parents, to your coworker, to friend, to brother, and last time you said something similar, they got upset, you should have the intelligence to know the next time you say something like that, it'll happen again. So don't say it. Even if you can't understand why they get upset, at least now you know that they do get upset. At least find some other way of communicating the same concern. This is critical between husband and wife. This is critical between parents and children. And you know, between husband and wife, especially a lot of husbands and wives, they argue at home. It's normal. By the way, you're not a bad couple if you argue. It's a normal part of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had arguments in the house sometimes. There were some times that the mothers of the believers were not happy. It happened. This is a part of life. Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anhu can get kitchenware thrown at him. You know, it's a part of life. You're not you got a special problem. No. And don't wish, I wish our family was normal. I wish we never argued. Oh, actually, let me just let you know, there's nobody normal in this room. All of us have some issues. All of us do. That's a reality. But when those arguments happen, and you don't think about what you're going to say or who's here, children are listening. Children are listening. So when you show no respect to your wife when you talk to her, and she shows no respect to you when she talks to you, children lose respect for both of you. They lose respect for both of you. And they start losing respect for each other. They mimic the way you argue with each other. You will notice the older sibling, the older daughter, the older son, sometimes they're yelling at the younger one. And they're yelling exactly like the mother or the father yells. They're even using the same words. Because they observe. They watch carefully. So think about what you're going to say. And think about, now this is one part in these last 5 minutes, not just what you're going to say, how you are going to say it. There are two parts. It's what we say, and it's how we say it. You can have a problem. You can have a complaint. I called you 10 times, you didn't pick up the phone. Remember that? There's ways to say it. And you can say it smilingly, hey, so sorry, called you like 10 times. Or you can say, I called you 10 times, woman. You know? It's the same thing. You said exactly the same thing, but the attitude is different, isn't it? And in this attitude, it's part of qawl. How you say something is part of the ihsan. You can go to somebody and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? And you can say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you? You could do that. Some of our kids, they're teenagers. They come in, when you pick them up from school, you get in the guy, Assalamu alaikum, Kareem, how are you? That's not wa alaikum assalam. It's a good word. Wa alaikum assalam is good words. But with that attitude, it's actually like an Islamic way of saying whatever. Right? It's not really wa alaikum assalam. These words carry emotions with them. They carry a certain attitude with them. The attitude with which we say things matters. Some of our kids are really good at this. They talk back. They have a habit of talking back. And those of you that are in the audience, hopefully some of you, because this is being recorded, hopefully they'll hear this. Some of you have a habit of talking back about everything. No matter what your parents say, you talk back. Time to go to school. Mom, let me finish my sandwich. Okay, guys, time for dinner. Can you just finish watching this? You gotta say something. You have to respond. You have this natural reaction to any instruction. You have to somehow rage, even the smallest, yet protest. It has to be there. It has to be there. And you can say that protest in two ways. Now, you're getting late for school. Mother says, get in the van. Mom, I can't find my socks. Or you go over, Mom, I'm so sorry. I can't find my socks. I'm really sorry. And she might even still get mad. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be nice. You're late for school. It's like, what were your socks yesterday or whatever. But that doesn't mean you have to have an attitude. And by the way, when you get in trouble with you can't find my socks, and the father calls you, what'd you just say? Would you just say to your mother, I just said I can't find my socks. That's all I said, I didn't say anything. Actually, there's a way you said it. It's not what you said. You're not in trouble because you can't find your socks. It's because the way you're talking, your attitude. You got to fix the attitude. This is what this ayah is about. And so what are the consequences if we don't? وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَكُمْ.
No doubt about it, it is in fact shaitan, and shaitan, Allah is mentioning him twice because shaitan, jumla ismiya mubtada, then thaniyatan fil fi'l, al-mudma, yanzahu baynakum. Shaitan will cause friction, agitation, hatred, animosity between you. He will make you people hate each other because of the way you speak to each other. At first you'll be a little annoyed, and it will build up and build up and build up until you can't stand your own family member. You can't stand your teacher, your mother, your father, your child, your husband, your wife, your friend. You can't stand being around them because of the way they speak. Speech alone can make people hate each other. And shaitan will make sure he does it. And there's no doubt about it that he will do it. Because Allah didn't just say, فَالشَّيْطَانُ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَكُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَكُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ كَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. All one ayah. Twice Allah mentions, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَان is ajib. No doubt about it, shaitan will make you hate each other. He will make friction between you. No doubt about it, shaitan is a terrible enemy, a great, obvious enemy to all human beings. But he began with the ibadi. What we're learning here is that we can let shaitan into our homes and in between loved ones because of the way we speak. And there's no doubt about it that if you don't change the way you speak, according to this ayah, if you don't change the way you speak, if I don't change the way I speak, we are necessarily putting shaitan between ourselves and our loved ones. We are doing it. Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول إن الشيطان ينزغ بينكم. That's the reality of it. This is what we believe. We should not underestimate the value of words, the power of words. If you have a spouse or a loved one, a family member, those of you that are younger, maybe your dad yells at you all the time. Mom yells at you all the time. What are you supposed to do? You know what? You find the time to go to dad. Find the courage and speak respectfully and say, Dad, you know that last time you called me a donkey? It really hurt. I was really sad about that. Okay, son, sorry. I won't say it again. I'll say, I didn't mean it. I just called you a donkey because I love you. Because I loved donkeys when I was little or something. But at least you'll break the ice. If you're being hurt by someone in your own family, don't keep it to yourself. Don't let shaitan come in between. Individually address these things. The last bit I'll just say to the parents in the audience, don't insult your children in front of the other children. Don't yell at your kids in front of the other kids. It's humiliating. It builds a resentment in them, like mom or dad has no respect for me. They want me to be humiliated in front of all the others. If you have something to say to them, pull them to the side and say it to them, not in front of the others. This is important. And in the way in which you say it, sometimes, when you yell all the time, it doesn't even work anymore. It doesn't even work. They don't even hear it at one point. They're like, here he goes again. That's what that is. But if you sit them down lovingly one time and say, listen, this happened, I'm concerned. Look, I'm not putting you in front of all the other kids. I want to talk to you separately. Can we not have this again? And take 10, 15 minutes out with one child. You'll notice wonders. Because maybe you never gave them individual attention. And you never had an individual conversation about their behavioral problem. And that's why they're acting out this way. So we have to implement this يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ in our family lives, in our professional lives, in our community lives, and بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ this way we can pluck shaitan out of our lives. We can remove shaitan from all of our relationships. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على أفضلهم وخاتم النبيين محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد نقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا